You know, it's something we all kind of take for granted, grabbing a bite to eat or finding a place to stay when we're on the road. But have you ever stopped to think about how we got here? Well, today, we're going to take a journey from sleeping on a barn floor to booking a luxury suite on our phones and see how the simple idea of hospitality has totally changed our world.
So let me ask you something. Think about the last time you took a trip. Where'd you stay? A hotel? Maybe an Airbnb? Chances are you had a ton of options, each one offering a totally different vibe. But, it wasn't always like this, not by a long shot.
I mean, just look at this contrast. On one side, you've got this cozy, old-school inn. On the other, a massive modern resort with all the bells and whistles. The journey from one to the other, that's not just about fancier buildings. It's a story of huge shifts in technology, culture, and what we expect from the world.
Okay, so to really get how we ended up with all these choices, we gotta rewind way back, because long before there was room service or online reviews, just finding food and shelter on the road was a real problem. And the first solutions, well, they were pretty simple, but also kind of brilliant.
All right, so this timeline here, this is going to be our roadmap. We're going to follow the path from ancient Roman snack bars all the way to the global industry we have today. And every single point on this line, it's not just a date, it's a huge leap forward.
Let's kick things off in ancient Rome. You know, for a ton of people living in cities back then, especially in poorer neighborhoods where homes didn't even have kitchens, eating out wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity. And get this, the city of Pompeii had over 150 snack bars before it was destroyed. That's a lot of takeout.
Okay, let's jump forward to the Middle Ages. The whole idea of comfort was, let's just say it was a little different. If you were a tired traveler, your best bet might be an alehouse. And this was basically just a room in someone's house where you'd get a simple meal and a place to crash. Maybe on the floor, maybe in the barn. Luxury was definitely not on the menu. Okay, this is where things really start to pick up speed. As we get into the Renaissance and beyond, the world is opening up. You've got more trade, more travel, and a flood of new ideas that are about to completely change what people want from a public space. And here we have a total game changer, the coffee house. These popped up in the 1500s and were nothing like the loud, boozy inns of the time. Because they promoted sobriety, they created a space where people could have clear-headed conversations. They became the go-to spots for business deals, political debates. Honestly, they were kind of like the internet cafes of their day.
Then, in 18th century France, we get another brilliant concept, the table d'hôte, which means the host's table. Now, in a world of chaotic inns where you just grabbed what you could, this was a radical idea. Everyone sat down together at a big table and was served the same set meal. It brought a sense of order and community to dining, and really paved the way for the modern restaurant.
And this right here just shows you how powerful new technology can be. When the railway arrived in the 19th century, it didn't just make travel faster, it created a brand new need. Suddenly, you had all these passengers getting off trains who needed a place to stay. And that sparked the age of the Grand Hotel, these incredible, magnificent buildings designed for a new era of travel.
And that brings us into the modern era, the 20th and 21st centuries, where the name of the game is, without a doubt, choice. The options for where to eat and stay just exploded into the incredible variety we see all around us today.
So just like the train gave us the Grand City Hotel, the airplane gave us something totally new, the Resort Hotel. As flying became more common, it opened up the entire world to tourism. And all those tourists needed a new kind of accommodation, one built for kicking back and relaxing.
And then, bam, the internet happens and changes the game all over again. In 2008, a little company called Airbnb came along and completely flipped the script by letting basically anyone with a spare room become a host. It connected people directly and created a whole new way to travel.
But today's world of food is so much bigger than just restaurants and hotels. There's this massive, kind of invisible catering industry working behind the scenes, feeding us in all kinds of places we don't even think about.
And what's really fascinating is when you break down why food is being served. It's not always about making money. Sure, you have commercial catering, your classic restaurant, but think about the nonprofit welfare catering in places like schools and hospitals, or the food you get on planes and trains. They all have completely different goals.
So if we zoom back in on just restaurants, the sheer variety today is just staggering. We've come a long, long way from everyone eating the same thing at one big table. Now there's a restaurant for every mood, every budget, every craving you could possibly imagine.
I mean, think about it.
You can travel the world without even leaving your city, right? You just pop into an ethnic restaurant and get a taste of a whole different culture. That's a direct result of how connected our world is today.
Then you can swing to the complete other end of the spectrum with gourmet or fine dining. Here, it's all about top-quality ingredients, amazing skill in the kitchen, and perfect service. It's not just a meal, it's a whole experience. And of course, you've got the chains and franchises. And their superpower? Consistency. Whether it's your favorite fast food joint or a celebrity chef's brand, you know exactly what you're going to get, no matter if you're in Toledo or Tokyo.
So, wow, after this incredible trip through history, you gotta wonder, where do we possibly go from here?
Just look at this number, 5 million. That's roughly how many Airbnb hosts there are around the world. It's just a powerful reminder that this industry never, ever stands still. The next big change could come from an idea we haven't even thought of yet.
It's a pretty wild story when you step back and look at it, right? We've gone from hoping for a dry spot on an alehouse floor to having literally millions of choices for food and lodging all in the palm of our hand.
And that leaves us with one last big, fascinating question. We know technology isn't slowing down, and our tastes are always changing. So what do you think is next? What will the restaurant or the hotel of the future even look like? The next chapter is just waiting to be written.